The wedding hasn't even happened yet, and everything's already a train wreck. Let me paint you a picture here. My cousin Morag is getting married, and the whole family's buzzing like flies around a cowpat. It's supposed to be this massive event, practically the Scottish wedding of the century. She's marrying this bloke, Lachlan, who's got more money than sense. I'm talking ridiculous amounts of money here. They've booked a bloody castle for the venue, because, of course, a normal place just wouldn't do. So, the first red flag. I get this invitation in the mail, and it's not just an invitation. It's a full-blown package. There's a fancy scroll with gold lettering, a mini bottle of whiskey, and a custom-made tartan handkerchief. Who the hell does that? Anyway, I'm thinking, all right, Morag's gone full bridezilla. Fast forward a week, I'm sitting in my flat in Edinburgh, minding my own business, when my phone rings. It's my mum, Eyelid. She's panicking like the world's ending. Dominal, you need to help me. Morag's in a right state. The caterer's cancelled, and we've nae got a plan B. Ma, I didn't ken anything about catering. Why's this ma problem? I'm already regretting picking up. Because you're family, and you're nae gonna leave us in the lurch, are you? And just like that, I'm roped into this nightmare. Turns out the caterer had a moral objection to something Lachlan's family had said. Knowing those snooty bastards, I'm not surprised. But now, I'm stuck trying to find a new caterer 3 weeks before the wedding. So, Morag decides she wants a hen night to remember. Her idea? A night out in Glasgow, hitting every bar on Sauchiehall Street. I'm the designated driver because apparently I drew the short straw. We pile into this minibus, Morag, her bridesmaids, and a few cousins. Spirits are high, everyone's dressed to the nines, and it's all giggles and shots. But by the third bar, things start going downhill. Morag's best friend, Fiona, decides it's a brilliant idea to climb onto the bar and start dancing. She slips, lands on a table, and crashes to the floor, breaking her arm. We're in A&E for 3 hours, and Morag's crying her eyes out, wailing about bad omens and ruined photos. To top it off, Morag's ex, Dougal, shows up. He's plastered and starts mouthing off about how Morag's making the biggest mistake of her life marrying Lachlan. A fight breaks out, and Dougal gets chucked out by the bouncers. We're all dragged out with him because the staff think we're all trouble. By the time we get back to the minibus, Morag's mascara is running down her face, Fiona's in a cast, and half the bridesmaids are too pissed to walk straight. I get them home, but not before Morag throws up in the back of the minibus. Perfect. A week before the wedding, and I think, all right, maybe the worst is over. Ha! How naive of me. Morag calls me in a panic again. Domnall, I need you at the dress shop. They've buggered up my dress. I rush over to the shop, and sure enough, there's Morag, red-faced and furious. The dress is a disaster. The tailor somehow got the measurements all wrong, and it looks like it's been made for a child. Morag's a tall lass, and this thing barely reaches her knees. The shop owner, Mrs. MacLeod, is trying to calm her down, but Morag's having none of it. She's threatening to sue, screaming about how her wedding's ruined, and it's all turning into a scene from a soap opera. I step in, trying to mediate. Mrs. MacLeod, is there any way to fix this? We've got less than a week. We'll day our best, Mr. McGregor. We'll work round the clock if we have to. Morag's still fuming, but I manage to drag her out of there before she tears the place apart. We head to a nearby cafe to calm down, and she's sobbing over her tea. Why's everything going wrong, Domnall? This is supposed to be the happiest time of my life. Ugh, it's just bad luck, Morag. It'll all come together in the end. You'll see. But honestly, I'm starting to doubt it myself. The night before the wedding, we have the rehearsal dinner. It's at Lachlan's parents' estate, and the place is like something out of Downton Abbey. There's tension in the air because Morag's family and Lachlan's family are like oil and water. His parents are posh toffs, and ours are salt-of-the-earth Scots. You can imagine the conversations. Dinner starts off all right, but after a few drinks, Uncle Angus decides to tell a story about the time he got so drunk he woke up in a cow field with no trousers. Lachlan's mum looks like she's just swallowed a lemon, and his dad's pretending not to listen. Then, Lachlan's sister, Beatrice, pipes up with some snide comment about how quaint our traditions are. That sets off Auntie Mayuri, who's had one too many sherries. Quaint? We're nae bloody savages, ye ken. Maybe if your family learned to relax, you'd no be so uptight. It's all downhill from there. People are shouting, Morag's in tears again, and Lachlan's trying to keep the peace. I end up hauling Uncle Angus out before he starts a fist fight with Lachlan's dad. We get back to the hotel, and Morag's convinced the wedding's cursed. Everything's falling apart, Domnall. Maybe we should call it off. You're just stressed, Morag. Sleep on it, and things will look better in the morning. But I'm lying through my teeth. At this point, I'm half expecting a meteor to hit the venue. Finally, the big day arrives. I'm thinking, what else could possibly go wrong? Stupid question. The weather's gone from sunny to a full-on storm. The castle's surrounded by mud, and half the guests are late because the roads are flooded. We're all crammed into the bridal suite, trying to keep Morag calm. The dress disaster was averted, but now her hair won't stay up, and the makeup artist's stuck in traffic. Fiona's trying to help, but with one arm in a cast, she's not much use. Meanwhile, Lachlan's over in the other wing, freaking out because his best man's lost the rings. They're tearing the place apart looking for them, and Morag's on the verge of a breakdown. The ceremony starts an hour late, and we're all soaked from the rain. Morag looks stunning despite everything, but as soon as she starts walking down the aisle, the power goes out. We're plunged into darkness, and there's a collective groan from the guests. They light candles, and we soldier on. Morag and Lachlan exchange vows, but just as they're about to kiss, there's a loud crash. Uncle Angus, who's been hitting the whiskey since breakfast, has tripped and knocked over a table of candles. There's a small fire, and everyone's scrambling to put it out. In the chaos, Lachlan finally finds the rings in his own pocket. Morag's laughing and crying at the same time, and I'm just standing there, thinking, this is the most Scottish wedding ever. Somehow, they get through the rest of the ceremony, and we all head to the reception. It's a muddy, chaotic mess, but everyone's too relieved to care. Morag and Lachlan have their first dance, and for a moment, everything's perfect. Later, as I'm sitting with a whiskey, watching Morag and Lachlan laugh together, I realize something. It's been a disaster from start to finish, but maybe that's what makes it so special. It's real, it's messy, and it's ours, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.